brothers and sisters.
Every day is a new opportunity to hear and learn from God. Let's take this moment to receive His word for today.
Here's today's scripture.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to really zero in on just the very start of the Psalms.
Psalm 1, verse 1.
Exactly. We've got some notes here based on a text analyzing it called Psalms 1, verse 1. And our mission really is to unpack its core message.
And understand why it's so relevant even now for living, thoughtfully.
So let's just state the verse itself. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked or stand in the way that sinners take or sit in the company of mockers.
And that line, it's not just poetry, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Our source points out it's completely foundational for everything that follows in Psalms.
It definitely feels like it sets a strong tone, a choice right from the start.
A choice, exactly. It puts this contrast front and center.
Mm-hmm.
The path of the righteous versus, the path of the wicked.
Being blessed, it's tied directly to not doing certain things, not walking, not standing, not sitting with certain groups.
Precisely. The source material really emphasizes that this blessedness, this true well-being, it comes from lining yourself up with, let's say, godly principles.
And avoiding the opposite.
And actively avoiding them, yes. It's not passive. It's about what you choose to engage with and what you deliberately turn away from.
I found the progression mentioned in the text really interesting. Walking, then standing, then sitting. It doesn't feel random.
No, it doesn't. And the analysis suggests this is showing a sort of a gradual descent. Like you start by casually going along, then you're taking a stance, and finally you're settled in, comfortable with it.
So it's a warning about how influences can kind of seep in.
I think so. It suggests that getting involved in negativity isn't usually like an overnight thing. It starts with association, maybe listening, then participating, then becoming fully part of that environment. It's subtle.
Which ties into what the text is about intentionality, right? It's not just don't do bad things.
Exactly. It's more active than that. Our source highlights being vigilant, really mindful of your surroundings, your relationships. Who are you spending time with? What ideas are you absorbing?
It requires conscious effort.
It absolutely does. The text frames it as an active pursuit of righteousness by carefully, intentionally choosing your influences. That kind of prompts you to ask, how deliberate am I about the impact of my daily environment?
Mm-hmm. And the source calls this living a life set apart. It really connects the dots between companionship, focus, and ultimately your character and destiny.
Yeah, the idea is that who you listen to, who you align with, shapes who you become. The source links this to actively refusing to be influenced by those who disregard what's good or true.
It's about protecting your own values, essentially.
By being selective, yeah. Selective about where you invest your time and attention. It's a kind of boundary setting.
And you mentioned what comes next. The source points out the very next verse shifts gears, doesn't it?
It does. It moves to actively delighting in the law, in God's instruction. So you see the contrast even more clearly.
So it's not just don't do this, but actively do this instead.
Precisely. You move from avoidance to positive engagement. So Psalm 1.1, when you look at it through this lens, is about positioning yourself.
Positioning yourself to thrive.
To thrive spiritually, yes. To find that deeper fulfillment by living in sync with, God's purposes as the Psalms present them.
It's incredibly foundational. It's all about the huge impact of our choices.
Choices in who we associate with, the lifestyles we adopt, how much they affect our well-being, our direction in life.
It leaves you with a lot to think about.
Definitely. And maybe the final thought for everyone listening, take a moment to consider those subtle influences in your own daily life. Are they maybe, slowly, leading you down a path of walking, standing, or sitting in ways that don't quite align with what you truly value?
What might it look like to be just a bit more intentional about the company you keep, the environments you frequent? Something to ponder.